In this video, I'm going to react to the 10 craziest fights in NFL history. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now this one I've been looking forward to for ages. This particular video has been recommended to me for months and months and months. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get to it. Maybe I've had it in reserve, waiting for the right time to drop it. I don't know. But it's going to be a really interesting one because the NFL, in it, the nature of the sport, it's physical, it's tough. You need to be robust and durable. And because of all the hits and collisions the players take during the course of a game, there's got to be moments where, you know, you get really hit by a guy and you think that guy's gone too far and you just lose control over your emotions and you retaliate, basically. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if these kind of incidents happen quite often, just because, like I mentioned, you know, when you're getting hit from all angles, you know, from places that you can't see, you can't really brace yourself for, and you take a lot of damage, it does something to the mentality. You just that rage, that red mist sets in. So yeah, this video is going to probably do a good job. I really enjoy reacting to this channel's videos. I think it's non-stop sports. So yeah, this video is going to be a really awesome one to watch. So let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the 10 craziest fights in NFL history. Let's do it.
Blood boils in the game of football. That's just the way it is. Sometimes things get out of hand. Fans are given absolute treats of insanity and violence. Here's the top 10 craziest fights in NFL history.
All right, let's do
Myles Garrett versus Mason Rudolph. Arguably the craziest moment in football history. Late in a game on Thursday night between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns, Myles Garrett hit quarterback Mason Rudolph. Rudolph took exception to the hit and grabbed Myles' face mask. The two scuffled on the ground and fought back up to their feet when Garrett yanked Rudolph's helmet off. Mason refused to back down, regardless of the two people between them. Then the legit craziest thing ever happened. Garrett used Rudolph's own helmet and bashed him in the head with it. There wasn't a jaw left undropped. Everyone stood frozen in shock.
That dude, Garrett, he lost his mind. He just went berserk.
Except the world's greatest best friend, Maurkice Pouncey. Pouncey, just like the name, pounced on Garrett. He attacked with vicious rights and kicked him in the head. The NFL's Malice in the Palace was worth the price of admission. Both benches cleared, and it took several minutes to settle it down. The helmet smash was heinous and could have severely injured Rudolph or any other player.
Oh man, look at his face. Oh man, come on, you don't do that, dude.
The NFL did not take it lightly, suspending Myles Garrett for the remainder of the season. Pouncey, our NFL Homeboy of the Year, was suspended 3 games for the action, and we'll never forget this one. I can promise you that. Odell Beckham Jr. versus Josh Norman. Speaking of two guys who just don't like each other, the beef of Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman is one of our favorites. Part of what made Josh Norman great was a huge chip on his shoulder, and for that same reason, he hated OBJ and his princess upbringing as a first-round pick. Norman and other Panthers ran around pre-game with a bat, swinging it around and trying to intimidate the Giants.
Really? I mean, come on, who are you really going to intimidate by just randomly running around with a bat? That seems a bit weird to me.
This pissed off Beckham and set the tone for the rest of the game. Regardless of the integrity of the game, what happened next was awesome. Every play, it seemed like the cameras were cutting from the play to focus on the real action. Norman and OBJ getting into it. Every run was a chance to watch these guys go to war. Emotions continued to rise, as did the drama in the game. One time Norman would get the better. The next time OBJ would handle Norman to the ground. ground. They traded blows. On 4th and 2, Beckham caught a pass for a first down. Norman slung him to the ground and sprawled on him. As he got up, Beckham tried to trip him, earning the first of 6 personal fouls called upon them. In the third quarter, Odell went on a headhunt for
Oh man, he's grabbing his helmet.
Norman, not once, but twice in a play, rocking him with a bad cheap shot. Norman had officially thrown Odell off of his game, living in his head. The next round, Norman blasted Odell. However, it began to look like OBJ and the Giants were gaining their composure. They fought back from 28 points down. On 4th and 5, game on the line, Odell got the last laugh. He beat Norman in coverage, scored the game-tying touchdown, and did his best AI step-over impression over Norman. The two still hate each other, and this was just the start of an awesome rivalry. AJ Green versus...
That is an epic little rivalry there. I mean, yeah, I might even go and try and find that game's highlights or the full game just to watch that.
Jalen Ramsey. Talk about two complete opposites. AJ Green is the reserved, silent killer at receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Jalen Ramsey is one of the game's best trash talkers and a lockdown corner for Saxonville at the time. It didn't take long for Ramsey's words to get under the skin of the mild-mannered receiver. Every play, he was pushing Green and calling him soft. Green just couldn't get going, getting physically shut down, and mentally, it looked like Ramsey was all in his head.
Nobody wants to be called soft. Nobody, especially when you play a contact sport like football. I mean, nobody wants to get called soft.
Green started yapping back, calling him weak after he caught a ball that quarterback Andy Dalton pushed too far outside. With only one catch in the first half, Ramsey continued to talk and push. However, it was one push too many as he shoved AJ Green and walked off. AJ came up behind Jalen and put him in a rear naked choke, choking him to the ground. As soon as he hit the ground, Green rocked Ramsey with multiple rights and slammed him back down as he got up. It's one of the most surprising moments from Green, who just lost his cool. AJ Green continued to hammer Ramsey until the two teams intervened. Both were ejected from the game. Cortland Finnegan versus Andre Johnson. You know, corners and receivers really don't like each other, do they? Speaking of silent assassins, Andre Johnson was one of the league's strongest and most physical receivers. Cortland Finnegan was the league loudmouth. Round 1, fight. After 2+ plays of physical blocking, Finnegan's helmet flung off. To get revenge, the very next play, Cortland made it his mission to get after Johnson. Andre turned him around and snatched his helmet off his head, and we're off. As he was hitting Finnegan, Finnegan got a tug of Johnson's face mask and ripped his helmet off, launching it 20 feet away. Big mistake, buddy. Andre Johnson spun him down and began wailing on him. Overhand right after overhand right after overhand right.
I mean, this just doesn't look to me like a fair fight. Yeah, I feel like Finnegan is a bit outmatched here.
Two ended up getting separated, but sheesh. Winner and new middleweight champion of the world, Andre Johnson. Cortland Finnegan learned a valuable lesson that day. Aqib Talib versus Michael Crabtree. These guys hated each other. It all started with a chain. Michael Crabtree was known for wearing a chain in every game. That, for some reason, Aqib Talib just didn't like. In 2016...
To be honest though, wearing a chain seems a bit dangerous. I mean, not like avoiding the fact that it's going to get ripped off. I mean, surely you could, if that gets like twisted up, that could like cause suffocation issues, no?
Talib decided to do something about it. He snatched the chain right off Crabtree's neck. On the sidelines, Talib was joking about it, reenacting the action. Crabtree didn't respond on that day. He took the high road, but he did say he didn't like Talib. In the next meeting, he taped the chain. Talib was trying to make a point. Crabtree came in with a plan, and it only took the first drive to put it in motion. As Crabtree blocked Talib, Aqib took the liberty of removing the chain from Crabtree once more. more.
Wow.
This time, Crabtree didn't hold back. He viciously blocked Talib into oblivion, shoveling him into the dirt along the sidelines. He knocked over other players, chain gang, and equipment guys in his wake. The gloves were off, and a chain too. Talib ripped Crabtree's helmet off of him before heaving it right back at him. The helmet nearly hit multiple people, and both teams cleared their bench. It was like the end of an action movie. The two main characters fought separately to the band of armies. They swung wildly at each other. We never really got to see the boxing match, so we're still waiting on the pay-per-view. Steve Smith versus Malcolm Jenkins. Steve Smith will be known for two things: the best little guy in the NFL and an obnoxiously awesome trash talker. You don't spit as much as Smith and not get into your fair share of fights. First, Steve Smith embarrasses Saints corner Jabari Greer on a jump ball, tossing him away like garbage as he scampered into the end zone. Apparently, it hurt Roman Harper's feelings. To get even, Harper hit Smith with a blatant cheap shot after he scored. A brawl broke out almost immediately, but the best part is Steve Smith didn't even get involved yet. He boasts and celebrates, beating on his helmet. Then Smith ran to the first guy he found, who happened to be Malcolm Jenkins. In one of the most hardcore moves ever, Smith grabs Jenkins by the face mask, pulling him around like a mean nanny pulls around a spoiled 8-year-old. He hoisted Jenkins in the air and slammed him back to the ground chokeslam style as the two teams pile on the action. After manhandling Jenkins, Smith casually separated himself from the sea of bodies. Don't tug on Superman's cape, and don't mess with Steve Smith.
I mean, get off me. That was savage.
Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore is the world's expert on stopping Mike Evans. Evans' size, speed, and strong hands make him nearly unguardable, but Lattimore dominates their biannual meetings. Maybe that frustration got to him on this occasion. Lattimore and Jameis Winston were arguing near the sideline. As Lattimore walked away, Winston taunted him, pointing at the field and then pointing at Lattimore before he started shoving him with his finger. Lattimore turned around and shoved him back. They were jawing when Mike Evans blindsided Lattimore, coming from out of nowhere. Laid out, Evans went to the ground and pounded Lattimore, but then he's blasted by another Saints defender with a rescue. A Pier 6 brawl erupted from the sidelines. For a moment, absolute bedlam covered the TV screen. Saints head coach Sean Payton is seen halfway across the field berating and pointing at the Bucs sideline.
I mean, that other defender did not need to come running in like that. I saw him from the left here. He just goes poof. I mean, so unnecessary.
Players had to be separated. The blood between Evans and Lattimore still hasn't settled in 2020. Just a few weeks ago, they were at it again, and we're all here for it. Buddy Ryan and Kevin Gilbride. Finally, we get a little coach-on-coach action. Buddy Ryan was the defensive coordinator for the 1993 Houston Oilers, where Kevin Gilbride was the offensive play caller. Buddy is one of the most colorful characters in the history of the NFL. He became known for the 46 defense, but mainly just being insane. On national television, the Oilers jumped to a 14-0 lead and were driving again. Way too aggressive. Gilbride called a play that led to the quarterback fumbling. Buddy was a huge critic of Gilbride's offense, mocking the run and shoot as the chuck and duck. As they came off the field, Ryan,
the chuck and duck,
had words for Kevin. He clearly muttered back, and Ryan only got louder. In a bizarre moment, up 2 touchdowns on a winning team, Buddy channeled his Evander Holyfield and jabbed Gilbride with a strong right hand. Gilbride was stunned, and before he even got to react, Oilers players separated the two. It was all the NFL could talk about. The feelings never faded. Buddy said that Gilbride will be selling insurance in 2 years.
That is savage. He'll be an insurance salesman. Oh, man.
Well, Buddy didn't get along with too many anyway. Joey Porter versus Willie Green. This fight couldn't even wait until the opening kickoff. Joey Porter got the pregame trash talking going early. He crossed the 50-yard line, which is frowned upon during warm-ups, ripping Browns players as they came out the tunnel. Well, he finally ran up on the right guy, William Green, as the Browns runner started jawing back. Green got into Porter's face, who then spit in Green's eyes.
Oh, no, 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 no. You do not do that. That is, come on, you spat at someone in the eye? No. Sorry, unacceptable.
Green retaliated with a massive headbutt, and ding ding, it was on. Joey Porter threw a haymaker with the left, gashing William Green's lip. Green tossed a hard right that missed before another Browns player came up and caught a punch from Porter. For a brief moment, Porter and Green went mano a mano. They both connected multiple times before the other players broke it up.
Wow.
The NFL ejected both of them before kickoff.
Wow.
Joey Porter backed up his psycho antics with a hard left. The punch also paved the way for the Steeler legend, James Harrison, who started in Porter's place that.
This dude looks mean. Just look at that. Look at that facial expression.
Game. Albert Haynesworth versus Andre Gurode. This one is more of a manslaughter than it is a fight. As the Cowboys stomped into the end zone, well, Albert Haynesworth decided to stomp on something else. Center Andre Gurode was at the bottom of the pile when Haynesworth kicked him with his helmet on. His helmet fell off and exposed Gurode to Haynesworth's next act, stomping his head into the turf. One of the most savage moments in sports history. Gurode laid there in the fetal position, covering up, as his teammates came to the rescue, scuffling with Albert near the goal line. Gurode emerged with a
That dude's a psychopath.
crimson mask. The doctors rushed to clean him up. Haynesworth's barbaric decision took 30 stitches on the top and bottom of Andre's right eye to seal up. Haynesworth was immediately flagged, and in the middle of the frustration and scuffle with other Cowboys players, he slammed his own helmet on the ground. Haynesworth was ejected for the game and given the longest suspension for an on-field incident at the time, 5 games. But that might not have been enough for gashing Gurode up. Luckily,
Yeah, I don't think that was enough. I mean, that guy could have lost his eye if the stud from the cleats, I think they're called, if that went in his eye.
Gurode didn't have any long-term injuries from the incident. So, there you guys have it. The 10 craziest fights in NFL history. Which fight was your favorite to watch? And were
I mean, yeah, like just as I expected, some absolute real, you know, proper fisticuffs. But that last guy, James Harrison, I think, dude, he stamped on someone's head without the helmet on. I mean, no, that's not just losing your temper. That's just something not quite right up there in the noggin. That was just some straight savagery. Yeah, the NFL is not a sport for the weak. It's physical, rugged, and ruthless. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.